Hi readers, welcome back. We are going to be continuing to read our book, Survival, the Jungle Edition. Yesterday, when we were looking through, we noticed that this was kind of uninviting. We predicted that maybe the jungle isn't as great of a place as maybe we thought before. We noticed that we have this table of contents that's going to tell us all of the things that are going to be in this book. We made predictions as to what each one was going to be about. We read a little about what it would be like if you were lost. Maybe they gave us a little scenario. We looked at all of these pictures, and we knew that this was going to be discover how to survive in the jungle, find out how to find water, advantages. We learned some facts about 2 million people visit the Amazon every year. And then we also learned that we need to stay calm when we're in the jungle. Today we're going to continue reading on a little bit, and we're going to be paying to the details and thinking about what we notice as we're reading. Yesterday we read to be fascinated. Today we're going to figure out things that we're noticing. So we're going to read a little bit more. Oh, okay. So I instantly noticed that there's different headers. One of our headers is finding your way. Maybe that this is we know that we're already lost in the jungle, how we can find help. This kind of looks a little creepy. This one says, stay out of the water. I don't really know what this is, but I can kind of make a prediction that if this says stay out of the water, this might be like crocodile or an alligator or something. It looked kind of like a tree at first, but like a branch or like a log or something. Excuse me. This over here, piranhas. Oh my gosh, this does not look very friendly. Look at those teeth. And then I know that this is a bamboo raft because I went to Thailand and we got to make them. So I have a connection right here that I know what this is already. So let's read a little bit about this and let's see what else we notice. If you become lost in the jungle while hiking, your best bet would be find your way back to camp. How do I do that, you might ask? Well, it starts before you go hiking. Be prepared. Take a map and orient yourself to your position. Take an emergency whistle and compass with you. Pay attention to what direction you're headed. And remember the landmarks. Oh, okay. So before we even go in the jungle, we need to make sure that we pack all of these things and to orient yourself with your position, knowing which way is north, which way is south, knowing how to get around and paying attention to where you're going and using compass or maybe some landmarks or a map. What if you can't find camp? Make your way to a river or a stream or a lake. Once you find water, you may be able to make a small raft. Bodies of water are the highways of the jungle. Chances are good that you will find a village or a campsite if you travel downstream. Just keep moving and you're likely to meet up with people. Oh, okay. So if I'm ever stuck, the important thing maybe I can listen to some water. And they said that if I go and find a stream, there's a good site that maybe there's a campsite or a village because people need water too, so they tend to camp themselves out by the river. Okay, stay out of the water. But you just told me to go to the water, so I'm confused. Let's read a little bit more. If you make it to a waterway, it is best to find a way to float on the water and not in it. Crocodiles, snakes, and other dangerous animals often live in these waters. It's best if you stay above the water and don't become someone's lunch below it. Oh, so we were right, readers. This was a crocodile. But I didn't only found out that crocodiles live in there. Snakes and other dangerous animals live there too. Maybe I can predict that this piranha is another animal that lives there. Let's find out. There are many kinds of fish in the Amazon River. Piranhas are famous for their sharp teeth and big appetite for meat. Contrary to what most people think, they usually won't bother people, but don't go near them with an open wound. They are attracted to blood. Kind of reminds me of a shark or any other fish that is attracted to meat or any other animal. I make that connection. So let's read this. Water can usually be found downhill. Oh, well, that makes sense because the water needs something to go down the stream. And so if it's downhill, that makes sense. Okay, let's keep reading. Okay, so what I notice off the bat, we have a big compass. It says easiest is best. Maybe like using our compass can help us. This says use large landmarks to help guide you. Oh, so remember maybe if we started off paying attention to where those landmarks are, um, kind of if like you're in a parking lot and you have to remember where your car is, and sometimes there's little signs like, oh, this is D4 or this is B2, and you use those landmarks or those things to remember where your car is. Okay, so let's keep looking. When hiking in the jungle, keep your direction in mind. Some jungles are thick and you won't be able to see far, so it is important to keep yourself oriented. A compass is the best tool to use. If you don't have a compass, compare the sun's position to landmarks. It is best to keep moving in the same direction with your plan in mind. You may need to zigzag at times, but don't go in circles. Oh, yeah, so kind of this reminds me of connection to when I watched Finding Nemo and they were trying to get their way out of the jellyfishes. Marlin and Dory, and they kept going in circles and they couldn't find the way out, and they just had to keep going straight, and those things. So yeah, kind of like the same thing, just keep going straight. Easiest is best. There is a story of a group of men who crashed in a jungle and worked their way through the thick bamboo forest for 5 days. Oh my goodness. If they had stopped to think and look around, they would have seen they could have gone around a thick growth in 4 hours instead. In the jungle, always look for the easiest way. Oh, so they kind of went a little bit longer. And if they would have just maybe took a minute to stop and think and look around, they could have been out a lot quicker. And it took them 5 days when it could have took them 4 hours. Use all your senses to help you, especially your hearing. Listen to distinctive sounds to follow and help you move in one direction. A compass always points north, so you can tell whether you are heading in the right direction. Oh, that kind of makes sense, kind of listening for that river too, if we need to find something. Let's read one more page. Oh, okay, so let's look at this. What I'm noticing, this big title right here, How to Signal. Maybe if I'm like stuck somewhere and kind of looking at these pictures, it looks like they're calling for an airplane, maybe if they're lost. So let's keep going. Rescuers may search from above in airplanes. They may not be able to see you through the thick trees, but if you shine a light towards the sky, they may be able to see that. Oh, okay. So you can use like a reflection. Step 1. To signal with a mirror, raise it in front of your face and reflecting side out. Stretch your other hand and form a V with your thumb and fingers. Step 2, move the mirror so you can capture the sun's reflection in the V of your extended hand. Step 3, keep the light in the V until the plane is also in the V. Now the reflected light will be pointed directly at the plane. Move the mirror slightly to make the signal flash. Warning, do not do this unless there is an emergency. You should never flash lights at planes for fun. Oh, so that makes sense. So if only to do this if you're stuck somewhere in either a jungle or maybe you go hiking in the forest somewhere in the U.S. And you don't know where you are, this is a good way to do that. But if we do that in other circumstances just for fun, that could potentially be kind of dangerous, only if you're an emergency. So wow, I learned so much and I noticed so many different things.